is ASEAN, and why is it important for Southeast Asia? Well, ASEAN is a political and economic alliance of 10 countries. The group's 5 original member states, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand, founded ASEAN in 1967 during the height of the Vietnam War. At the time, many Southeast Asian governments were at war with their respective communist-led guerrilla groups, and leaders became increasingly concerned over the region's political vulnerability. So they formed an alliance to not only secure the region against the threat of communism, but to give Southeast Asia a cohesive voice on Cold War issues. Since the fall of the Soviet Union, ASEAN has shifted its focus to international trade, border security, and collaboration with neighboring countries like China and South Korea. For instance, member states' GDPs range anywhere from roughly $11 to $888 billion, but collectively their GDP is about $2.5 trillion, rivaling that of France and the United Kingdom. But when it comes to military strength, each ASEAN member is relatively powerless on its own. Although ASEAN has not fully integrated its military, they have already begun to collaborate on regional security threats, like North Korea's nuclear program and the territorial dispute over the South China Sea. For decades, China has tried to take ownership of much of this area, despite conflicting claims from several member states. ASEAN has repeatedly attempted to resolve this issue, but has thus far failed. The South China Sea conflict has jeopardized diplomatic relations between member states, as several are heavily influenced by China. ASEAN's lack of coherence on the issue has led to criticism of the group's supposedly weak leadership and disjointed priorities. Despite these differences of opinion over the South China Sea, however, ASEAN is striving to create a distinct Southeast Asian identity by 2020, meaning that citizens belonging to these member states would identify themselves not by their nationality, but by calling themselves ASEAN. So, how important is ASEAN? Well, this powerful economic alliance, coupled with Southeast Asia's growing consumer base, has attracted interest from all over the world, including the United States. When President Obama took office in 2009, the US made a strategic pivot to strengthen relations with Asia and even hosting ASEAN's biannual summit on US soil. And as China continues to expand its military and territorial claims, a united Southeast Asian front is more critical than it's ever been before.